I'm Anil Kumar, and in this video we will understand domain and range of a square root function. Now this particular video is very important for the students who are going in for calculus. The question here is, find domain and range of f of x equals to square root of 25 minus x square and its inverse. So let's analyze the function f of x. It is given to us as equals to square root of 25 minus x square. Now this is an equation of a semicircle, right, where we are only considering the positive half of the semicircle, and it will be let me just sketch it here for you just to give you an idea what kind of function we are working with, right? So this function is like a semicircle here, kind of like this, where zeros will be at plus and minus 5. If I write minus 5 or plus 5 for x, their square will be 25, and so we'll get 0. If I write x as 0, we get 25 square root, so we get a positive value of 5. So if you sketch it, and if you know that this is a semicircle, then the domain range is very simple to write, correct? So from here, you know what domain is. So in this case, you know domain for the function is equals to x belongs to real numbers, where x is between minus 5 and plus 5, including both the values. As far as the range is concerned, it is y belongs to real numbers, where y is between 0 and plus 5, right? So that is domain range for this particular function. But many of you may not know that this represents a semicircle. Now for them, how should we work out? So for that, it is important to understand that within the radical we should always have non-negative number. So you need to solve for inequality 25 minus x square should be greater than equal to 0. So that is the inequality which you have to solve for, right? So in that case we can solve this as taking negative 25 on this side. We say x square is greater than equals to, minus, let me write down, minus 25. Then we multiply by minus. Whenever you do that, you have to change the sign also, right? Should be less than equals to 25. So x square should be within 25, you understand? So whenever it is x square, it really means that the absolute value of x should be less than equals to, we will square root it, 5. Square root of x square is absolute x. Okay, remember that part. Square root of x square is not x. Square root of x square is, so when we do square root of x square, what we get? We get absolute x. So absolute x is less than 5, which really means that x is greater than equals to minus 5 and is less than equals to 5. That is what it means, correct? So from here you get your domain. So that's another way of finding domain. Some of you could also find domain by sketching this graph 25 minus x square, and then see where, in which interval is it positive, non-negative I should say. So minus means opens downwards, and if I put x as 0, I get y value as 25, correct? So if x is 0, y is 25. So it is basically a parabola kind of like this, right? So you can clearly see that the parabola is positive in this interval, right? So from here also you can get domain and range. I'm just telling you different ways of doing it, because many students have access to my videos on YouTube especially, and they all follow different methods. So this is 25, so it's opening downwards from 25, correct? So domain is very clear for us, and range we know is between 0 to, I'm sorry, this should be 5, okay? So of the function is square root of x, correct? So I drawn this is 25, this is okay, 25 is okay for the parabola, but as far as the range is concerned, I have to put x equals to 0. So what do we get? We get f of 0 equals to, within square root, 25 minus 0, that is equals to 5. So therefore we say that the range for this function is 5. So let me clearly write down my answers. So for the function, let us say f of x. For f of x, we have domain which is equals to within minus 5 to plus 5. That is also you can write in interval notation, and range of this function is between 0 to 5, correct? 0 to 5. Now, how about the inverse? So when we talk about the inverse of function, let us say f inverse. Now f inverse of this function, since this function fails horizontal line test, inverse is not going to be a function, right? Therefore I'm not writing x here, it's just writing f inverse. It will flip, right? So the domain for the inverse will be the original range, right? So it will be 0, 5, and as far as the range is concerned, domain becomes the range, so that will be minus 5 to 5. So to answer the question, this is perfectly fine answer, but I hope you understand this strategy which we adopted. Strategy could be solving inequality or graphing the parabola and figuring out where it is positive. That is how you can find the domain. Once you find the domain, then you can actually find the range within the given domain. I hope that helps to answer this question. Thank you and all the best.